Well, you know it's a Subaru when that check engine light's on. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you all joining me. Today's video, guys, we are talking about this old thing over here. Really old, actually. If you don't know, this is my 2013 Subaru STI, guys. I bought this back in 2013 because it is a 2013. Wow, big brain. And well, guys, I want to talk to you today about maintenance, everything I've spent on it so far. This being a 10-year-old car, there are going to be some follow-ups you need to do with the car in terms of, you know, upkeep and making sure she still runs hard and strong, which I think she does. But of course, the car pretty much has been stock this whole entire time because I'm aware, because these engines obviously have certain issues and certain problems that occurs with them. So I left the car stock as is, and now we are at 84,000 miles on this baby, guys, and I love it. All right, let's do a quick rundown on the car itself. As I said, it's a 2013. We are sitting at a decade old with this car with 84,000 miles logged on this thing. Original motor, original transmission, and obviously outward appearance, guys, she still looks stock. But do not be fooled, as I have gone through 2 full color wraps, and you can probably tell there's still remnants of the last wrap we had on this car. I do have some gold Advent 19-inch wheels back there, but they do need tires, so we are back on the stockies. Hey! And other than that, guys, we have the basic Subaru staple mods here: mud flaps, hello horns, grim speed, license plate relocator, and that was it. I had the Nameless Performance axle back probably for like the first year or two when I got the car, and then I got some money and got a proper cap back, the NVIDIA Q300, and we do have some Ibach lowering springs. These were purchased around 6 or 7 years ago and we're still on factory struts, so it's safe to assume that the struts are trashed and will probably have to be replaced. But that is the good news, guys, because that means we do have to upgrade our mods and get cool parts. So those are the mods that were done when we first purchased the car. Let's go ahead and talk about mods that have recently been done to the car. Not for fun, guys. This wasn't for fun. This was mandatory performance mods that had to be done. There's no other way around it, guys. They had to be done. Alright, people, let's go ahead and get down to the first major issue we've had. Now keep in mind, guys, this car has already been paid off 5 or 6 years ago, so it kind of makes sense. You know, I expected some stuff to go wrong, but here is the first major issue we had. Now about 7 or 8 months ago, guys, I discovered that the car wasn't generating any boost. My boost gauge was reading like 1 or 2 psi under wide open throttle, which obviously is not normal. So eventually I took it to a Subaru tuning shop, and they took a look at it. I explained to them what had happened, and right over here, we look under here: test drove vehicle and confirmed customer's complaint. Need to scope intake track to confirm if turbine blades are dragging and not generating positive boost pressure. There is a high chance that the catalytic converter may be clogged in addition to or instead of. Additional time may be required to remove the downpipe to confirm conditions. Anywho, it turned out that my OEM stock downpipe, that sucker over there, so it was clogged and thus it was not creating boost. The solution was to upgrade and throw on a Cobb catted downpipe. Not only that, but I also had them install a Cobb turbo blanket as well as a Grim Speed uppipe. Now let's go ahead and look at the cost for that. So here is the cost of the downpipe install, material and labor, turbo blanket install of the uppipe. So total came out to $2,656.52 for all 3 of those items. And then the car was running just fine for about 3 months, and then the next issue came up. So the car was good. After that, we had a brand new downpipe and an uppipe and a pretty sweet turbo blanket on this thing, and the car was good for about 3 months, 3 to 4 months, and then the next issue came up. Well, you know it's a Subaru when that check engine light's on. We have traction control light on as well. Sport mode is flashing, as well as the cruise control light flashing. Good thing we have this little Game Boy over here, folks, because we can read our codes. This thing is going to access the mainframe, and boom, we're pulling up the P2006 engine light. TGV System 1 RH malfunction, stuck, closed. A check engine light came on and my access port pulled up a P2006 code. Now if you don't know what that is basically TGVs having issues. I had no idea what a TGV was at the time, so raced off to the internet, did as much research as I could. Essentially they're there so that the car can have a much cleaner burn during idle. Basically has little flaps. You know what? Here's the TGVs that were replaced. These are from obviously the original car that I was having issues with, and basically they are there for the car to have a much cleaner burn. Let's go ahead and take a look. Essentially emissions stuff, so that's why people do TGV deletes. These flaps over here are generating turbulence. Anywho, one side was shut closed, but the other side still ended up having to have this oil crusted on it, so both sides were replaced. And let's look at the figures for that. The total for this job cost me $2,008.96, and they ended up replacing both. This includes material and labor, obviously gaskets. They did throw in a new thermostat in there, but that was another $2,000, guys, so that was kind of hefty. And then the car was fine after that, for now. So with that, the car again was back in running order in its original state. Now the good thing about this company is that they did make a list of all the other issues they found on the car while they were working on it. We'll get to that in a little bit. Now some of the stuff looks like it's just trying to upsell me on some stuff, on some parts and some labor, but other stuff looks like it's pretty necessary and needs to be attended to right away. So let's go ahead and take a look at this very short list. Okay, I figured I might as well read these ones to you. Alright, so the first one is oil level in the vehicle is low. That's okay. The car was sitting for a while, and I did do an oil change. We're back to normal levels. Next one, vehicle AC compressor making a whiny noise when turning on air conditioning. Recommend AC system diagnostic, system fill with dye to see if any of the lines are leaking, as well as vehicle needs a AC compressor at the very least due to noise it's making. I don't really use the AC that much, and plus cold weather. Vehicle has stock exhaust manifold. Depending on power goals, it is recommended to replace header with aftermarket option. I like where their head's at. Vehicle wiper blades are not in best condition. Meh, easy. I could do that. Vehicle has stock top mount intercooler as well as stock air intake. Depending on customer's goals, may recommend a front mount intercooler kit or Cobb redline intake depending on how much power the vehicle is trying to make, as the stock options are very restrictive. Again, it's a performance mod that's not really necessary, but I do like where their head's at. Vehicle has stock motor mounts, transmission mounts, and dog pitch mount. Recommend replacement of the following components with aftermarket IAG ones to improve driving experience as well as overall performance of the vehicle by reducing unwanted drivetrain movement. Again, parts that I don't need, but would be nice. Vehicle OEM suspension, struts, and shocks are beginning to seep fluids as well as top hats are split and crack. Pictures attached below. Recommend replacement of vehicle suspension depending on customer goals. Good time for coilovers, boys. Vehicle steering rack is leaking. Here's finally we get to a very important one. Vehicle steering rack is leaking. I apologize for that car out there. All over itself. Pictures attached below. Recommend replacement of vehicle steering rack as well as outer tire rods with vehicle alignment as needed. I've seen it. It is starting to spew a lot of power steering fluid. Vehicle front brake pads are non-existent. I replaced them already. I did it. That was just page 1. It's only a page and a half. Vehicle has stock battery tie down. I could do that. Here's another one. Here's a pretty crucial one. Vehicle has discolored OEM radiator as well as OEM radiator hoses. Recommend replacement of vehicle radiator and radiator hoses due to sign of age and wear, and avoid problems with radiator cracking in the future and potential cause to damage the vehicle. That was a pretty important one. Vehicle power steering hoses coming off the reservoir are very hard and are also leaking around. Again, pretty important stuff. The last crucial thing, guys, was the timing belt and water pump replacement, guys. Apparently everybody knows this, but after 10 years or 100,000 miles, you must replace that timing belt and water pump in your vehicle, because apparently that's the time to do it. So I did it. I took it to a different shop this time. I got a CSF radiator core right back here, so It's a stock replacement radiator. You know, the old one lasted me a long time, but got that. I got a new upper radiator hose and a new lower radiator hose. Not only that, but they did do the timing belt and water pump. Right here, guys. Here's the water pump. Interesting. Timing belt, some idler pulleys, and whatnot. They did give me a new thermostat, even though I already had a new one, but oh well. And this job was $600, $675 in labor. I ended up buying the parts, and the kit ran me around $400, plus the radiator, which was $100, $120, actually. So we have a Subaru WRX STI OEM quality timing belt kit with water pump. That was $420. I bought the CSF radiator, which was $120. So you guys can do the math there. And with that, the car was finally at least in a better standing state than it was before, for now at least. I did end up purchasing an IAG air oil separator. I'm going to attempt to install this one myself at some point. I do also have, let's just come over here. There's a spare motor over here. We also have a Killer Bee oil pickup. I haven't even opened it yet, but at one point when I feel confident, I will go ahead and attempt to install the oil pickup and the IAG air oil separator at some point. That is my STI right now. This is how much I've spent on it. Now I know 10 years, stuff's expected to go bad, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm not crying about it or anything like that. If anything, guys, I had to do it because I love this car so much, man. This thing is so much damn fun. Every time I drive it, I got a big old smile on my face. Access port, Pro Sport gauges. Yes, sir. Starts right up. Love this car, guys. That is going to do it for this video. Future plans for this car, eventually to build the motor up, and hence why you saw that spare EJ motor, guys. So make sure you subscribe for that one. We do have some pretty big plans for this car, and maybe for the F-150 too. I'm not quite sure yet. I feel like I kind of maxed that one out already. But anywho, I appreciate you all watching this video up to this point. Make sure you hit that comment button and subscribe, and I will catch you all on the next one. Peace and take care.